All right, so when you checked it, we're right. You should have got 91 equals 91. That's true. We're good. All right, next one. Number 10. On this one, I wrote every single step, so you have an example for on your homework, okay? Because this is what you're going to do for homework. You're going to actually do these, okay? You're going to say, oh, on the first step, I distributed, okay? That's where the negative 36 and the minus 48 came from. I distributed. This is how I got it. On the next one, I combined like terms. So far, we haven't had to combine like terms on anything today, but I have no combining like terms, right? I have one variable, a constant, a variable, and a constant. So I have no variables to move because I always move my variables first. I'm going to move my constant. So I'm going to add 36 to both sides, right? And we know from earlier, negative 36 and positive 36 all became 0, right? I didn't need to write that. I bring the negative 48x down. Don't do anything with it. The minus 372, we add 36, and we get negative 336. Okay, so I moved my constants when I add that 36. Then I'm going to divide by what's right here. I'm dividing because the opposite, because it's opposite of times, right? This is a times between here. Okay, check the answer. 6 times negative 6. Let me actually go to the next page here. I actually moved it. 6 times negative 6 minus 8 times 7 equals negative 372. So you can see, I know a lot of people struggle with this on what step to do. When you have all these parentheses like this, we're going to work from the inside out. 8 times 7 is 56. Negative 6 minus 56 is negative 62. 6 times negative 62 is negative 372. It's true. This is all order of operations when you check it. We are right. All right, last one. Part A, I distributed. Why is it negative 12 and negative 48? Every time I see these problems, somebody comes to me and they say, I did something wrong. And every time it's a plus 12 or a plus 48. Why is it not a plus 12 and not a plus 48? Emma. A negative 6 times a positive 2 and a negative 6 times a positive 8n. Okay? You have to pay attention to whatever is in front of that. That is not 4 minus 6. You must distribute first. Okay? Then, so over here we need to write negative 6 times 2 equals negative 12. Negative 6 times 8n equals negative 48. Negatives matter. If you miss a negative, you will get the whole problem wrong every time. Every single time. You start getting decimals, you can go back and check your negatives. People always go back and say, no, 6 times 8 is 48. They forget the negatives. So my next step is I combine like terms. You guys know I box my variables. I underline my constants. Box, box. So my like terms. On the left, over here I have a 4 and a minus 48. We do not change this to a plus 48. You did not cross the equals. Unless you cross the equals, you do not change and do the opposite. This line is where the opposite happens. Okay? the line is where we change to opposite. So 4 minus 48 is negative 44. Then I just brought my 12 down. I didn't touch it. And I brought my 120 down. Didn't touch it. So right here, I just rewrote it. Okay, or I just moved to a new page. So you guys can see. My variable, my constant, my constant. So why would I move the 12 and not the 44? Doesn't have variable. I want to move these constants and get this out of here. Okay? 120 plus 12 is 132. Then I have this negative 44 times n. So the opposite of times is divide. And I get n equals negative 3. Why is my answer negative? A negative and a positive equals a negative. Okay? I want you guys to check it. I wrote the problem on there, but I did not solve it. I want you to check it. Check it and tell me if I'm right. Remember, you're going to work from the inside out on your parentheses. If you don't know how, I will do it right here. 2 minus 24 is going to be the first thing I'm going to get rid of. Right? I'm working on the inside out on my parentheses. Still have a parentheses I need to simplify. 2 minus 24 becomes negative 22. 4 times negative 3 minus 6 minus 22 equals 120. Now I just have a bunch of multiplication. Negative 12 plus 132 equals 120. Does 120 equal 120? Yes, we are right. I realize this is a hard and annoying step, but people miss it on every single test. So if you're going to miss stuff, you don't have a reason to because you can check it. All right?